Hello, my name is Darius, and I'm doing a podcast. Today's topic is going to be focused on called "It's Hard to Be Christian and Live with Integrity." Again, I'll repeat that: it's hard to be Christian and live with integrity. Some would like to believe that their life is hard, but they only do things that they want to do. I can say this because I have lived on both sides of the equation, and it is significantly easier to be like everyone else and fall to the cultural norms. I'm sure all of us have suffered from this at some point in our life. I remember for the majority of my 20s, I wanted to be like everyone else, and that is exactly what I did. I drank alcohol, I smoked cigarettes, I smoked marijuana, and experimented with other drugs with the misconception that I was living the life. I know there are many people who have gone through these transitions, and sometimes it can be tough. You're not the only one. Initially, this life landed me in incarceration, and I learned that this life comes with consequences that I'm not willing or able to handle. There is a story of a young man who came from a wealthy family, and one day he decided he was going to live a life fulfilling all the desires of his heart. He asked his father for his inheritance money and left home to live the life of the party. Everything was good for several years, and he had many friends and lived a very lavish life. But after some time, his money ran out, and his friends disappeared, and he had to get a job, and all he could find was a job feeding and taking care of pigs. He could barely survive with this work because the pay was very little, and one day he was so broke that he found himself eating the slop that he was feeding the pigs. He had reached an all-time low and decided to go back to his father's house and beg for a job. That's tough, man. I'm gonna be real. I personally don't know if I have what it takes to eat the pig slop. That's an all-time low, and I'm sure that many people have been through situations in their life where they feel that they've gone through maybe something similar than this, I don't know. Yes, when he arrived home to his father, he was greeted with open arms, and his father welcomed him home and threw a big celebration as if he had never left in the first place. We all have been in low places, and there are no exemptions. I have never met a perfect person, and if you are feeling depressed and addicted to drugs or a lifestyle that you don't want, I want you to understand that you are not the only one, and there are many people who are suffering from bad decisions. All we can do is recognize that there is a problem and take steps each day to make things better. If you find yourself smoking a pack of cigarettes each day, maybe you can try and smoke half a pack a day, and little by little smoke less and less until you don't smoke at all. If you're a person who suffers from sexual addiction, maybe you can try to eliminate the influences that trigger the desire to have sex. If you suffer from porn addiction, maybe you can try to wing yourself away from listening to music and watching TV shows or scrolling through social media with sexual content that make you desire to watch porn. All I'm saying is that we each have the power to change the things in our lives that we feel are keeping us bound and making us feel depressed and alone. All you have to do is believe that it is possible to change, and just take steps each day in making the change that will give you the quality of life that you desire. This is basic information that I've put together. There are no perfect people out there. each of us is going through things in our daily life. Sometimes we feel overwhelmed and bound, and like maybe it's from work, or maybe it's from your situation at home with your family members. All of us can be overwhelmed, and a lot of people, to get away from these problems and stress that they're going through, the overwhelming stress of living life, what they do is they turn to drugs, or they turn to sex, pretty much anything to get that dopamine fix. And honestly, I think that there's much better ways to do things. All we have to do is focus on finding the positives in our lives. Maybe you are stressed out from family. Well, maybe you can look at your family situation and say, you know what, at least I'm fortunate to have a family. There's a lot of people out there who don't even have family. I remember I grew up, and when I was growing up, there were kids who my godmother adopted, kids who were orphans, and they helped raise those kids and helped them to some of the kids, the last ones, these guys went forward, and they actually are living promising lives, and it's hard. I understand you're not the only one going through it, but all you have to do is have hope and believe that it's possible to change. I did it. I struggled for days. Now I don't drink, I don't smoke, I'm not experimenting with any drugs. I used to eat meat, I'm vegetarian. I've completely transformed my life just through believing that it was possible, and pretty much just taking steps each day. I had reached my wit's end, and after going through so much, I just desired more from my life. And if you're desiring more and you're believing that things can be better, I want you to know that they can. All you have to do is take steps each day. Take one step at a time. One step at a time. That's all it takes. All right, man. Catch you guys later.